Thank you to everyone for being here. We would like to give a special thanks to Microsoft for hosting both the forum and the awards tonight. With a personal thanks to Paul. Where's Paul?
Right here.
Do you want me to come up and say a few words?
No, proceed. You're doing a great job.
I must be honest with you all, I'm struggling to celebrate tonight. I'm struggling with what it means for the Law Center to face off with an incoming administration that is proudly anti-homeless, anti-poor, anti-immigrant, anti-LGBT, anti-black. And I'm struggling with recognizing the 35th anniversary of the Law Center, because in reality, after 35 years of hard work, we have so much more to do towards our shared goal of solving homelessness. These coming days, months, and years will not be easy. The incoming administration has made statements about its explicit plans to round up homeless people and put them into detention camps, which will be much easier given the Supreme Court's disastrous Grants Pass ruling. Elected officials are mounting attacks on proven solutions to homelessness that will set our limited progress back years, if not decades. And we know that their cuts to the safety net will mean even more people are living outside. It's hard for me to celebrate. And yet I know that despair is not a strategy, and I know that our movement is strong and growing. Yes, there's a mounting bipartisan billionaire-backed push to pass anti-homeless laws across the country, but the opposition, our movement, is growing and winning too. We are getting organized, we are building power, and we will never forget that we can solve homelessness. Today marks the end of our first day of our forum, which we hosted in partnership with our partners at Corporation for Supported Housing, Vital Strategies, and Vocal US. Today and tomorrow, over 100 leaders from the movements for housing, health, and safety for all, without punishment, are joining us to build power, to build strategy, and get ready for the fight ahead. And for the first time since the election, I feel energized. I feel hopeful. So as we mark the 35th year of the Law Center, let's imagine what we can do in the next 35 years. We can stop laws that make it easier to throw homeless folks in jail for existing in public. We can guarantee that nobody sleeps outside in the richest country in the world. We can ensure that everybody has the housing they need to thrive. We can do all these things, and so much more, together. And now, in the spirit of togetherness and hope, I would like to invite our Board of Directors Vice Chair, Jackie Algaro, to speak and recognize our sponsors this evening.
Jesse, I agree with you. There is much work to do, but I also attended the forum this morning, and I can't tell you how inspired I have felt sitting and working with all of the collaborators, and many of them are in the room, so I'm glad that you could join us and see the work that we all can do together. Thankfully, though, my job here is to give thanks to some of our amazing partners. We have amazing partners that have been standing shoulder to shoulder with us in the struggle for housing justice. And I want to acknowledge everyone who is working alongside us to prevent and end homelessness. This is my moment to echo Jesse's words, and also thank Paul, Karen, and Microsoft as both our host, as one of tonight's major sponsors, and the cultivators of Justice Lender, along with Bank of America, represented by Angie Garcia-Winthrop, who's standing there in the back, another one of our outstanding board members. We would also like to give special acknowledgement to other major sponsors tonight, especially our Stewards of Justice sponsor, Bruce and Lori Rosenblum. Bruce is a former board member, and his support over the years, past years, has been an incredible addition for us. Bruce, thank you for being here tonight and with us on our 35th anniversary. There's more. In addition, I'd like to thank our Builders of Justice, Goodwin Proctor, who is also a longtime sponsor sponsor of our awards, a Hawk member, and a pro bono partner. And our leaders of justice, former board member Jeffrey Symes and his wife Andra, and a new sponsor this year, the law firm of Davis Polk. To all of our sponsors at every level, know that we could not continue to do and be one of the leading legal voices to end homelessness without your support. Many of our sponsors' names that you see in front of you, they are also board members, awards host committee members, or otherwise longtime supporters of the Law Center. Your commitment to our work over the past 35 years is what has kept us going. Now, speaking of 35 years, indeed 35 years ago, Maria Foscarini, then a lawyer with Sullivan and Cromwell, another one of tonight's sponsors, worked with homeless families on a pro bono basis. She went on to become an architect of the 1987 McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act, the first major legislation to address homelessness. And 2 years later, in 1989, she founded what was initially called the National Law Center on Homelessness and Poverty. We would not be here tonight, nor would I be a member of this board without Maria. Maria has been steadfast on this issue. So I get emotional when I think about this because I know how hard Maria has worked. Maria, thank you for everything that you have done to get us here tonight. Maria, please wave. She's right here. Well, she took the opportunity to wave. So, Jesse, I'd like to pass the podium back to you. Thank you all, and enjoy the rest of the
And thank you to our entire board of directors. We have many former board members who have joined us tonight. If you're a former board of directors member, please wave or stand as you're able, so we can give you some thanks. And if you are a current board member, please stand or wave so we can recognize your service. We have a great evening ahead of us, full of fantastic awardees. And now, without further ado, let's bring up our former board member, Kirsten Johnson-Obi, to present our first award of the night.
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's great to be here in the Law Center family again and see all of you out there. My name is Kirsten Johnson-Obi, and as a former board member of the Law Center and a member of the awards host committee, I am pleased to be here. The Bruce F. Vento Award was named for my former boss, Congressman Bruce Vento, for whom I had the honor of working for 15 years, and I remember Maria from back in those days, right? You do look just as beautiful. At the time of Bruce's untimely death, he was 60 years old. And as I stand here in my 60th year, I recognize just how young that is. But I think of tonight's award, the Vento Award, as passing the torch. I'm honored to present this year's Vento Award to the first Gen Z member of Congress, Representative Maxwell Frost, for his dedicated service to those in poverty with great unmet human needs. Representative Frost has shared his own experience of being unable to afford affordable housing in Washington, D.C., like so many of us, when we first arrived and get elected into Congress. In his first term in Congress, Congressman Frost has been an exemplary and stalwart supporter of unhoused people and everyone experiencing housing instability. Representative Frost joined the Solidarity Rally during Supreme Court oral arguments in his home district in Florida, where he shared the following statement: We cannot arrest ourselves out of this problem. This Supreme Court cannot encourage the actions of cities and governments that have failed to help their people in a time of need. We know the solution to our housing crisis, and it's not fun. Handouts. In early July, after the devastating SCOTUS decision, he joined our Host Grants Pass Housing Not Handcuffs campaign webinar, where he spoke with our 1,000 plus attendees and offered his unique insight, vision, and support for our movement going forward. Support we're going to need even more today, Mr. Trump. After the decision, Representative Fox shared, millions of Americans are one missed paycheck away from becoming houseless. And that's not their failure. It is the failure of our government and society for turning our backs on our people when they needed it most. We could not agree more. And now, I am thrilled to present this year's Venture Award to Congressman Maxwell Fox.
How's everybody doing? Well, look, it's been a difficult past couple weeks. I was talking to some organizers the other day, and I said, you know, the day after Election Day, I woke up, I didn't feel any hope. And I remember talking with my parents about their marriage and love and what it means to be married for so long. And I remember my parents telling me sometimes you don't feel love, but sometimes you choose it. And so in this moment, I actively choose hope on every issue that we care about, especially the issue of housing. First off, I'm Congressman Maxwell Alejandro Frost. I proudly represent Florida's 10th Congressional District here in the United States Congress. That's Orlando, Florida. It's where I was born and raised. It's truly an honor to be here today receiving this award, and it's truly an honor to be here with so many advocates from across the country. Thank you so much to the National Homelessness Law Center for this amazing distinction, and thank you for your partnership in this work over the past 2 years and as we continue into what will be a very difficult time for this issue and so many people in this country. I came to Congress on a mission. I wanted to fight for a country where people have their basic necessities met. You know, my politics aren't really about D versus R, blue versus red. I think it should be about the people versus the problem. And the fact that there are so many people who don't have the resources necessary to just live their best lives. That's what my politics is about. I remember during my campaign, in case you don't know, when you run for Congress, you don't get paid to do it. At the time, I was the National Organizing Director of March for Our Lives, which was the organization that came after the shooting at Hatch in Parkland. I was their inaugural organizing director. And I quit my job to run for Congress. I had some money in the bank. I thought it would be enough to last me for a year and a half with no income. It wasn't enough to last me a year and a half with no income. And about 3 months into my race, the rent hike moratorium was lifted in the state of Florida. My rent went up 33% in about a month. I got priced out of my home, didn't have a place to live. I put everything in my savings into an Airbnb for like 3.5 weeks. And I said, Future Max will have it figured out. Future Max did not have it figured out. And for the rest of that time, I couch surfed, stayed on my sister's ex-boyfriend's living room couch, uncomfortable emotionally and physically, and experienced what so many Americans experience, which is not being unsheltered, but being in a house and not having a place to live. When I finally got the funds, I started driving Uber at night to get them enough money to move to an apartment, and when I finally got into an apartment, I said, well, at least if I win, I won't have to deal with this. I'll be a congressman-elect. And then I get up here, and I get denied every single apartment I applied to. Every single one. Because my credit wasn't good enough to have the honor of paying $2,300 a month for a week.
Right.
And in that year span, I had experienced two huge issues in our housing crisis. Not having enough money to rent, and not being given the opportunity to rent. And we all know that our homelessness crisis is a housing crisis. Every time the rent goes up $100, our homelessness population goes up 9%. We have a lot of work to do in this country, but we have a lot to do in protecting people. You know, the issue of homelessness and housing isn't just a political issue. It's a reflection on our humanity.
That's right.
It's an affirmation of humanity. The last thing I'll say is I remember during my campaign, I was at a gas station pumping some gas, and all my buttons fell off, and there was a guy who came and helped me, and he was unsheltered. We started talking. He's a veteran, and he starts asking me about my platform. And I tell him everything, and he goes, I was talking about Medicare for All, and he really wanted to talk about that. And he said, well, he asked me a question that showed me there's such a generational difference that we have to really shape in this country. He said, well, what do we have to do to deserve it, though? I'm talking to a veteran. And it just reminded me how in our politics, we have embraced this politics of scarcity, when we truly deserve to live in a country that is built on a foundation of abundance. What did you do to deserve it? You're alive. That is what this work is about. You deserve housing because you are here. And I'll fight with every single one of you to the end on that. So thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you again, Congressman Frost. Before we move on to our next award, I want to say a bit about the artwork featured on the awards themselves. This year's awards highlight artwork from a collaborative project between the University of Miami Law School and the Red Line Service, based in Chicago, which is one of the only art organizations in the U.S. and indeed around the globe that is led by people experiencing homelessness. The Red Line Service builds community and generates a sense of belonging and mutual care that is essential to securing and retaining housing. This year's award plaque features the piece, "None of Us Are Home Until All of Us Are Home," by an anonymous Red Line Service artist, suggesting that a home is as vital as a beating heart, emphasizing that our communal health relies on everyone taking responsibility to ensure housing for all. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our longest-serving staff member of the Law Center, our Senior Policy Director, Eric Tars, who will present the second award tonight.
Thank you, Jesse. Good evening. The Stuart B. McKinney Award is named for the late Congressman who was a primary sponsor of the landmark McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act. This award is bestowed on individuals or organizations that have raised awareness and advanced solutions to homelessness and poverty. And this year, we could think of no better recipients of the McKinney Award than the three organizations at the heart of the legal fight in the Johnson versus Grants Pass case decided by the Supreme Court in June: the Oregon Law Center, the Oregon Justice Resource Center, and the Georgetown Law Institute for Constitutional Advocacy and Protection. This case was originally brought through the difficult frontline outreach work that folks like Walter Fonseca at the Oregon Justice Resource Center and Ed Johnson at the Oregon Law Center do every day. Through creative lawyering, they achieved important precedents that help protect unhoused people in the Ninth Circuit and beyond for a number of years, until the case made it to the Supreme Court. When the case was appealed to the court, the Georgetown Institute joined the fight, leveraging the collective experience with the Supreme Court of Kelsey Corcoran, along with her team, including Shelby Kalambakidis, Alexander Lichtenstein, Joe Mead, and Bill Powell, on behalf of the homeless plaintiffs from Oregon, strategically guiding the case to its best chance of success. Although we wish that we were celebrating victory in the case, the work that these three organizations represent still deserves recognition as some of the finest lawyering on behalf of unhoused individuals in the history of our country.
Yes.
Here, accepting the award on behalf of all the awardees, not all of whom could make it, is Kelsey Corcoran of the Georgetown Institute, joined by our colleagues Joe Mead, Shelby Kalvakitis. Do you want to come up, too? Is Shelby in? No, all right. And Allison Nasson of the Oregon Law Center. Please join us. Unfortunately, no one from the Oregon Justice Resource Center to be with us tonight, but we're grateful to Walter and his team for their work on the case. So, Kelsey, from the bottom of our hearts at the National Homelessness Law Center, thank you, and to the whole team for being part of this fight with us.
I want to start by naming what actually happened in Grants Pass because the Supreme Court didn't, and I think the truth matters. The Grants Pass City Council decided that the best way to solve its homelessness problem is to get rid of its homeless residents, to force them onto federally owned forest land outside the city limits by making it too uncomfortable for them to stay, by making it unlawful for them to rest anywhere on public property at any time, regardless of whether shelter is available. John Logan, Gloria Johnson, and Deborah Blake filed suit on behalf of themselves and their fellow homeless Grants Pass residents, challenging the constitutionality of the ordinances. They were courageous and they were right. If the Bill of Rights has any meaning at all, it protects the fundamental individual right to be alive, to be a human being who lives and breathes and sleeps, even if you cannot access housing. The Supreme Court held otherwise in a decision that I believe will go down in history as being as legally wrong and morally repugnant as Plessy and Korematsu. I think that one of the challenges of being a civil rights advocate is learning how to hold up and bear witness to the human suffering unleashed by a decision like Grants Pass, and to also steel ourselves for the work ahead. When I think about that decision and its devastating impact, I just want to cry. It feels wrong to do anything but cry. But I am really grateful to the Law Center for bringing us together this evening to do something more encouraging and productive, which is to hold up and bear witness to the extraordinary people who fought the good fight in the Grants Pass litigation. Eric named the plaintiff's litigation team. I'll just add how deeply grateful I and the ICAP team are to have had the opportunity to co-counsel with Ed and Walter before the Supreme Court. They are superb lawyers and human beings, and it's been an honor to work with them. I want to thank the Law Center, not just for recognizing us tonight, but being the true partners in this litigation. Antonio, Eric, Will, and Jesse were with us at every step, providing indispensable expertise and leadership in pulling together the most impressive and forceful amicus showing the Supreme Court has ever seen. 42 amicus briefs representing 1,159 individuals and organizations, including social scientists, direct service providers, local government leaders, and representatives of almost every major religious denomination. Thank you to each of those amici and to the pro bono lawyers who stepped up to represent them, many of whom are here tonight. Your work mattered. And finally, most importantly, John Logan, Gloria Johnson, Deborah Blake, Helen Cruz, and all of the homeless residents of Grants Pass for their courage and perseverance in the face of unspeakable cruelty and injustice. I know I speak on behalf of the whole litigation team when I say what an honor it is to represent you. I have been reading David White's biography of Frederick Douglass, and last week I got to the part where the Dred Scott decision came down. And I had not stopped thinking about Douglass's response, and so I'll end by sharing it with you, slightly paraphrased. The Supreme Court has great power, but it is not the greatest power. It cannot cannot change the essential nature of police. It cannot turn what is evil into what is good, or what is good into evil. No, it cannot. And I'm grateful to be on the right side of the street with you all. Thank you.
Thank you again to everyone. As we reflect on those victories and losses of this past year, we have another loss that we need to acknowledge. On July 21st, 2024, the housing rights movement lost a beloved friend and colleague, Gregory G.W. Roll. G.W. served for many years on the Law Center's board, and he was honored with our Personal Achievement Award in 2009, recognizing his efforts as someone with lived experience of homelessness to advocate for an end to homelessness and to stop the criminalization of homeless people. Several of us at the Law Center got to know GW through his work challenging St. Petersburg's policies, criminalizing homelessness, together with his friend and co-conspirator, Kirsten Anderson, who was then at the Southern Legal Council. We brought a class action suit against the city, with GW helping to organize and support the class of unhoused plaintiffs, and through this work, we saw and appreciated GW's skill and leadership in his community, his advocacy against criminalization, and for real solutions to homelessness. We all appreciated GW's strong advocacy, unfailing sense of humanity, and his sense of humor, but I'll always remember his booming rumble from across the room at our conferences as a sign I was about to be wrapped in a giant bear hug. Whatever GW did, he did with passion, and I'd now like to invite his friend and frequent collaborator in good trouble, Kirsten Anderson, who helped to lead the efforts on the St. Pete's case, to share a few words in memory of GW.
GW did so much for so many. He was the pastor of Justice Ministries at Museo Day community, a member of his local continuum of care. For me personally, he was my guide, my teacher, my colleague, and my friend. We worked together for many years to investigate and file litigation to stop the criminalization of homelessness. And I would not be the lawyer I am today without him. At his memorial service, everyone remembered his efforts to always make sure that you had enough to eat, and he cooked incredible meals with whatever he had with him. He taught me it was important to help people in need with whatever you have to give, while never losing sight that we have to change the systems that produce so much suffering. Rest in power, my friend. We miss you, and we will carry on in your memory.
Thank you, Kirsten, and thank you to the many board members who shared their remembrances of GW with us. I'd now like to ask our decriminalization director, Will Knight, to present our next award.
Now it's my turn. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Kirsten, for the kind words about GW. I know he is and will continue to be deeply missed. I also want to add my thanks to Kelsey and Shelby, Joe, all the lawyers at ICAP for the incredible work you did on Grants Pass. Your truly tireless work is some of the best lawyers I've ever had the privilege of being involved in. Thank you. So now it's my pleasure to turn our attention to some of our dedicated network of pro bono law firms who amplify our work here at the Law Center. Our pro bono partners contribute over 8,000 attorney hours every single year, which amounts to more than $5 million in legal and support services. Action Legal Team, HALT, is comprised of firms and corporate legal departments working on core legal issues in the fight to end homelessness, and they serve as our pro bono brain trust that I have the privilege of working with frequently. I'd like to take a quick moment to recognize all of our members of HALT that you see up on the screen here, including our HALT champions, a couple little shops you might have heard of, Latham and Watkins and Aiken Gum. And now, it is my distinct honor of introducing our 2024 Pro Bono awardee, the law firm of Blank Rome. In 2024, Blank Rome provided outstanding pro bono contributions, particularly on short turnaround requests that really enabled us to do the work that we did and make the strongest possible showing in the most important case on homelessness, civil rights, in a generation. In the work leading up to the SCOTUS oral arguments in Grants Pass, Blank Rome stepped in just a few weeks before the filing deadline, mind you, to serve as counsel on an amicus brief for Strong Hearts Native Helpline and other tribal advocacy organizations that we weren't able to find counsel for until then. This brief grounded the current struggle against criminalization of homelessness in broader narratives of discrimination against and displacement of Native American communities. And it was critical and excellent contribution overall to the overall narrative of the harm caused by laws that punish merely existing. In addition, when the Law Center agreed to represent members of Congress in their amicus brief in support of Gloria Johnson, Blank Rome stepped in again to provide support to the laws. To me, really, because I'm the idiot who said, yeah, we can write another brief in 7 days. The resulting brief was spearheaded by Representative Porter Bush, one of our 2022 awardees, with additional support from Representative Frost, whom you just met. Was identified at the Congressional Press Conference just before the Supreme Court oral arguments and has been cited numerous times by its many congressional signatories in the ongoing legislative work to end homelessness and decriminalize poverty. I'd like to invite my friend, Debbie Greenspan from Blank Rome, also a longtime board member of the Law Center, up here. Please join us in accepting this award.
So I think people have spoken eloquently about the Grants Pass case and where we stand today in our collective views and fight regarding the issue of homelessness and housing, really. So I just wanted, and I brought the team that's here that helped with these briefs. We also did a third circuit brief right after that. But it was an extraordinary honor and privilege and experience to work with this huge team of different advocates representing different interest groups and different interests and issues in a collective fight to really achieve a result that we had all hoped for in the Grants Pass case. And I have to say, when we were working on these briefs, I felt so optimistic. You know, I think our arguments were so strong and our position was so right. But I was pretty shocked by this decision, actually, because after listening to the argument, I thought, at least we come out even. I did not think we would get this result. But that just means we've got a group of extraordinary people who've been working together for this common cause, and it will continue. And I just, if anyone else wants, I know you all worked, everyone here worked incredibly hard on these briefs with very tight time frame, and with Will's extraordinary help in the middle of the night of the end of the time zone. So we're very honored and very grateful for this award.
Jesse, I'm going to hand it back to you.
Thank you, Debbie, and thank you to the entire team from Blank Rome, and again, all of the law firms who provide and continue to provide ongoing pro bono support to the Law Center over the past year especially. I'd now like to bring up Mary Benton, a board member here at the Law Center, who is also the pro bono partner at Alston Bird and our pro bono awardee for 2022.
Thank you, Jesse, and hello, everyone. Alston and Bird is proud to be a longtime member of the HALT team, and you all saw Lauren McHale recognized earlier today for being one of the co-chairs. We have been involved worked with the National Homelessness Law Center for a number of years, and particularly in our home state of Georgia. Many of you know how important the work of the Law Center has been in fighting back against bad Cicero-inspired legislation. So tonight, I am proud to present the State Legislator Award to State Senator Kim Jackson of Georgia. State Senator Jackson, who is also an ordained Episcopal priest, was nominated for her efforts over the past few years to fight against the criminalization of homelessness in Georgia and helping to secure a study committee instead of a bill that would have been passed to continue to put Georgians behind bars for simply trying to survive. During that year, when the legislation was implemented or proposed, Senator Jackson ensured that the committee's recommendations reflected practical and non-carceral solutions to the issue and included and amplified the voices of unhoused persons. In 2024, Senator Jackson partnered with the Southern Poverty Law Center to introduce a bill to begin implementing these recommendations, including legislation to create a permanent interagency council on homelessness, which also includes members of unhoused Georgian community. Senator Jackson also fought against additional barriers created by this legislation, proposed legislation, for people experiencing homelessness to access the ballot. Senator Jackson, on behalf of all Georgians who believe in respect and dignity for all, and on behalf of all of us who are in this fight together, we thank you for your leadership, and I'm delighted to present you with this state's Legislator Award.
I want to begin by thanking my dear friends at SPLC who came to me early in my legislative career and asked me to help fight against, to play defense on bills that are bad for the people that I work with every day. Because I serve as a priest to people who are experiencing homelessness, many of whom literally sleep in the shadow of the Capitol across the street. And so I worked with SPLC and many great minds to ultimately defeat or transform that really bad legislation into a study committee. But after that, I came to them and said, I'm tired of playing defense. Because of people like Mama T and Miss Annette, Marshall Rancifer, and all of these folks that I work with every single day on the streets who have shown me that they are worth more than just defense. Help me come up with some legislation to fight offensively, to do something. I'm tired of having to call 5 different agencies every single day just to figure out who's going to be able to give a housing voucher to somebody today. And so I'm really grateful to the many legal minds, to the partners at SPLC, and to so many advocates who really rallied around me and helped us come up with a bill that is proactive, that says that we value people's lives and we don't believe that they should have to fight so hard through so much bureaucracy just to have a little bit of dignity. Today, I really do accept this award with great honor and with great gratitude, but with a particular person that I'm behind in my heart. Mama T, Miss Teresa, was a woman who led a one-person hoop-it. That's right. She led a one-person hoop-in at the Atlanta City Council, in front of City Hall. Yes. Day after day after day. And she did it because we gathered together with a group of people who are experiencing homelessness, and we had a conversation about what is it that the one thing that they need the most right now, besides housing. We're working on that. out today and someone raised their hand and said, I need a bathroom. And Mama T said, all right, I know where one is, and she made one outside the steps of City Hall. Mama T went on to help organize and unionize people who are experiencing homelessness in downtown Atlanta, and helped to fight to make sure that the city opened up another public bathroom for people who are experiencing homelessness in the park. She has since gone on to glory, but her legacy and her determination to hold public officials accountable by simply sitting down and taking a poop every day inspires me to continue to do this great work. So thank you all so much. Thank you for the work that you do across this nation to make sure that we bring dignity to all individuals, regardless of their economic status. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Jackson, for your tireless leadership. I'm going to go off script for a second. I don't want to gloss over what we just heard. Local organizers in Georgia beat back a nationwide billionaire-backed campaign to throw homeless people in jail. Of the state, Cicero, billionaire-backed right-wing think tank that wants to throw homeless people in jail. Nearly half the states that have introduced bills, we've beaten them back. And we're getting organized together because we know they are advising Donald Trump right now on how to enact a nationwide camping ban and how to round up homeless folks and throw them in camps. We have beat them before, and we can beat them again, but we're going to do it together. The state and local awards are into this thing. And this is our third year celebrating leaders at this level. These leaders are often the closest to the work of ending homelessness, and we ask our National Housing Justice Network to nominate leaders who are working on the ground in their hometowns, who are leading the work to end homelessness. Past awardees came to us from Washington State, to LA, Maryland, and Tennessee. This year, both awardees happen to be from Georgia, an early epicenter of the fight against anti-homeless billionaire-backed legislation like the Cicero template bill. Our final awardee tonight is Atlanta City Council member Liz Bacardi, who is nominated by Liz Harding Chow of the Southern Legal Center for Youth. Councilmember Bacardi unfortunately could not be here with us tonight, but Liz will accept the award in her stead. Before I bring Liz up, I want to tell you a bit about Liz's work. Liz is still currently a law student, and while in law school, she founded the Southern Legal Center for Youth, the first legal aid organization in Georgia to provide free civil legal services specifically to young people aged 12 to 24 who were at risk of or currently experiencing homelessness. Harding combines her passion for public interest law with her background in data and evaluation to address critical legal needs for young people experiencing homelessness. Southern Legal Center for Youth is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to support the health, safety, and stability and education of young people in the southern United States by advancing their legal rights. SLCY's ultimate vision is that all young people in the South have their legal needs met so that they can secure housing, education, healthcare, and other benefits and resources that they need for stability. Liz has been working alongside our own youth homeless staff team here at the Law Center, including our youth shelter and housing attorney, John Salois, to ensure that local providers know about young people's rights in shelter and housing programs, and that these rights are upheld. Liz is truly a powerhouse, and we are so thrilled that she is with us here tonight to accept this award on behalf of Councilmember Bacardi. Now I'd like to bring up Liz Harding Chow for our final award of the night.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction. I'm actually a 3L part-time at the Georgia State University College of Law, and I'm really happy to be here tonight instead of going to my last week of classes. So, together with the National Homelessness Law Center, we at SLCY advocate for some of the most marginalized young people in Atlanta. Young people who are forced to the streets because they have been banned permanently from shelters or dismissed from housing programs without valid reason. Currently, we are the only legal organization in the South working to uphold young people's due process rights in shelter and housing programs. So we could really use your support. To all the attorneys in the room right now, and I know there's a lot of you, this is a call to action. Young people experiencing homelessness in Atlanta have asked us for our support. When they can't access shelter, they are forced to the streets. This is really urgent, and they really need our help. On that note, I'm really grateful because Councilmember Bakhtiari was one of our earliest supporters who answered our call to action. As soon as they learned that we were working on the issue of youth homelessness, and especially LGBTQ+ youth homelessness, they offered their support. Youth homelessness, and especially LGBTQ+ youth homelessness, is an issue that they've been working on for many years and is really close to their heart. They are the first queer Muslim person to be elected in the state of Georgia, and the first non-binary person elected in the city of Atlanta. They are a shining beacon of hope, as well as Senator Jackson, in our community, which is looking pretty dismal right now in a lot of ways. I nominated them in recognition of their steadfast commitment to housing justice and ending homelessness, especially for youth. I can always count on the council member to stand up and take action for the most marginalized among us. It's a privilege to be here tonight to accept this award on behalf of Councilmember Bakhtiari, and I'd love to congratulate them on receiving this award. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, Liz, thank you so much. I will say, as someone who attended law school many years ago, leading a law student, founding an organization, and one as critical as yours is truly a feat, and we're so glad you could be here today. And thank you so much for the nomination of Liliana Bakhtiari, who very much wanted to be here but had a family emergency that prevented her from being able to be here. So thank you, Liz. I am Antonia Fasinelli, and I'm very honored to be the second executive director of the National Homelessness Law Center. Congratulations to all of our 2024 honorees. We are honored to work alongside each of you in the movement to end homelessness. We celebrate your achievements and know it is your leadership that we rely on moving forward into these times.
Indeed, congratulations to all our awardees. And like most people know at the Law Center, we wear multiple hats. So as chair of the awards host committee, it is my duty and my pleasure to take this opportunity to ask you to consider making a donation to the Law Center to support the work that we do. If you have been inspired with what you have seen tonight, please consider giving a donation of just $35 or $350 or $3,500, maybe $35. If you are able. As you can guess, it's all in honor of our 35th anniversary. Finally, oh, see that QR code? That's for your camera. It'll help facilitate your free donation. Finally, we have one last very important acknowledgement to give. And I will be brief, since I know he doesn't want to be in the spotlight. But we would be remiss if we didn't give a heartfelt thank you to our Board of Directors Chair, Eric Benson. In a move to keep our board more equitable, we instituted 4 term limits, which our job of saying farewell. Eric has been an incredible leader who has donated his time, his energy, resources, and truly put his heart and soul into this work. Eric has led us through the organization's first ever executive director transition, a strategic planning process, an expansion of our budget, expansion of our board, and the scope of our work, and so much more. Please join me in thanking Eric with a big
Debbie, I really couldn't have said it better. Eric, you have been an invaluable leader of the board. It is an understatement to say that it's been a pleasure to work with you. I think many of you who don't know Eric should know that he has quite a sense of humor, which is such an important quality to have in a board member, particularly a board chair, and has made many difficult conversations ones that you can end with a laugh, which is fantastic. Eric, you've really been a sage advisor to me those last 3.5 years. A loyal friend to the Law Center, and always just a friend all the way when I try to meet you. Thank you. Thank you very much on behalf of all of the staff at the Law Center. Thank you for your steadfast leadership. Finally, we just want to say a real thank you again to Microsoft and to Paul for this wonderful space. Our awards host committee, chaired by Jackie, and all of our presenters and to our sponsors, thank you so much. I also want to thank the entire board of directors and every former board member that is here tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your hard work and your guidance and your support. And in particular, I want to thank the team at the Law Center, the incredible staff of the Law Center. Please stay. Come on, Jack. Eat more. Mary, let's glad that we are here together in this fight